Hey y'all, welcome back to the Good News channel. Oh my gosh, it has been a minute since I made a video for y'all. You know, I just been doing a lot of thinking, a lot of reconstruction, and so I really want to get back to the heart of this channel, which is testimonies, telling the stories of testimonies, because in the Bible it says we overcome by our testimonies. So we need to share them and we need to encourage people with our testimonies. And I am still in the process of gathering stories, but in the meantime, excuse me, in the meantime, I want to talk about stories that are already in the Bible, testimonies that are already in the Bible, because they're there for a reason. They're there to encourage us, and there's so many relatable situations that we can relate to and that we can draw strength from. And so today we're going to be talking about the story of Joseph. Yes, you heard it. If you have not read the story, get into it, and if not, you're going to get a little recap and also some part of his testimony, really, and how we can draw from it and draw strength from it and encouragement. So let's really just get into it. Yeah, let's just get into it. And so pretty much the story of Joseph, it's in Genesis 37 through 50. Y'all, I know y'all thinking it's a lot. Read it, it's a lot. And I'm talking about chapters, not verses. Genesis 37, chapter 37 through 50. And it is so worth the read. And at the end of this video, you'll know why. And so I'm going to give you a little recap of the story if you already don't know about Joseph. He was a brother or a son of many brothers. He had a lot of brothers. And the dad favored Joseph because he had him at an old age, so he loved him so much. It was a blessing to him. And because of that, the brothers envied Joseph, and they just did not like him, honestly. And Joseph would have these dreams because God would give him dreams, and he would tell his brothers about the dreams. And in the dream, it was pretty much his brothers bowing down to Joseph. And of course, the brothers did not like that. They were like, okay, you know, I already don't like you, and now you're having dreams that I'm bowing down to. Like, get out of my face, bro. Like, they really just weren't having it. So that infuriated them even more. And so one day, Joseph was meeting up with his brothers, and while Joseph was on his way, the brothers saw him coming, and they were like, you know what, let's get rid of this man. Like, we're tired of him. And they end up selling him into slavery, and they actually sold him to an Egyptian master named Pharaoh. And so from there, and then they went back to their dad and lied and was like, yeah, Joseph got eaten by some type of beast. Here's the blood on his coat, and bam. So his father was sad, but the brothers were happy that, you know, Joseph was out of their life. But the good part is that when he gets sold into the master, and in the Bible, it always says that God was with Joseph, so he had favor. So because he was sold and had God's favor on him, he ended up being he ended up being the master over the house and over Egypt, and that's all because of the favor of God. And so, and he had favor during that time. And then, long story short, Pharaoh's wife ends up trying to get Joseph to sleep with him, be together, whatever, get together, and she ends up lying on Joseph, saying that he actually did do that. And so Pharaoh throws him into jail. And again, during this time while Joseph is in jail, the Bible clearly writes out that God was with Joseph. And so even when he was in the jail cell, and it's like, okay, how did he have favor in the jail cell? But read it, you'll find out. Anywho, and then Joseph ends up getting out of jail because Pharaoh needed Joseph to interpret a dream, because that was his gift. God was able to give him dreams, and he was able to interpret it based on what God was saying. What God was saying. And anywho, so the dream pretty much that Pharaoh was having was that 7 years the land was going to be fruitful, it was going to be great harvest, great food, great times, right? And then the next 7 years was going to be full of famine, desolate, like people were going to be struggling for food and things like that. And that scared Pharaoh, because he was like, wait a minute, like that's going to come. And so pretty much he gave Joseph his job back, but he gave him even more I guess, authority over the land. He's saying, like, you got this. The only reason why I'll be higher than you is because of my name. But other than that, people are coming to you. They're coming to listen to you because I know that God is with you. And if God has given you I guess, the power to interpret this dream, then he gives you all the wisdom to, he would give you all the wisdom to survive these next 14 years. And so because of God's favor with him and God's wisdom through Joseph, Joseph was then named, you know, pretty much, not Lord or Master, but, you know, authority over all of the land, to steward the land. And so Joseph did just that. And long story short, the brothers, it's the 7 years of famine, and the brothers come and they need food, and they don't realize this is Joseph who they're bowing down to and pleading for food. And Joseph ends up revealing his, you know, who he is to them, because they don't recognize him, and they're just so in shock. And, you know, Joseph is just, he doesn't even scold them. He doesn't do anything. He's just like, he just cries because he missed them, and he's happy that they're back. And so that is pretty much the story of Joseph. Joseph was favored with God through everything, and then although his brothers shamed him and lied on him and things like that. But so that is a quick recap of the story of Joseph. Now, you may be thinking, how does this have any relevance to me? What can I even draw from this? Well, I am so happy you asked, because there's 3 things that we can draw from the story of Joseph, and honestly even more if you want to get really into it. But I picked 3 most important things that I feel like we should talk about. And so let's start with the first one. And I feel like the first one is that sometimes our purpose is bigger than ourselves, or bigger than anything, really. And the reason why I say that, so in Genesis 45:5, this is what Joseph is saying to his brother after he reveals his identity. He says, "Now therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that ye sold me hither, for God did send me before you to preserve life." And I feel like this was just a great act of trusting God and knowing that your purpose was bigger than all of this, because he could have easily just be like, nah man, like, I'm throwing you into jail, I'm doing all of this because, and he could have been angry with them. He could have made them pay back for all of the pain he's been through. But he decided to say, like, no, like, God needed to do all of this. He needed to push me away from you and put me into this position so I can preserve this land, because he was able to save so many people because he was so connected with God, because God was speaking through him and giving him wisdom on how to steward the land during the 7 years of greatness and then the 7 years of famine. So he saved lives. And so I feel like sometimes we have to get out of ourselves and stop, you know, being so upset that people did this to us or people did that to us, because that could be God pushing us and guiding us into the ultimate goal of our purpose. And so I just want us to kind of sometimes take a step back and realize maybe our purpose is bigger than ourselves, or bigger than what we're going through. And so that's number 1. And then number 2, it's kind of along the same lines, but it's the act of love that we should all, you know, choose to be like. Because Joseph, again, going back to that scripture, like I said, he could have easily, you know, made them pay for all of the pain he's been through. He could have easily scolded them because of the power he held. But he decided to choose love, and he made a big feast for them. They ate dinner all together, and he gave them money and all of these things because he loved them. So he didn't let any of the things he went through harden his heart. And so I feel like that really shows, and I also feel like it really shows the love of Christ at the end of the day, because that's who Christ is. No matter what we do to him or don't do to him, or do with him or not do with him, he still loves us ultimately. So I feel like the love of God was shown through Joseph, and also the love that we should hold in our hearts to other people, because at the end of the day, it's really not about what they did for us, but it's about showing the love of God and glorifying God at the end of the day. And so that was number 2. And number 3 is a really big and important one that we should all just take and just put in our pocket and our hearts and live forever in. And that's trusting God. And in each situation that Joseph went through, you never heard Joseph complain. You never heard him say, like, man, why am I in jail? Like, why do my brothers hate me? I feel like and honestly, in the Bible, it didn't even give Joseph a response to anything. All it said in almost every situation that he was in, no matter good or bad, it said, and the Lord was with him, and whatever he did, the Lord made him prosper. And that's actually in Genesis 39:23, and I believe this is when he was in prison. But in each situation, no matter what, it was saying that God favored him. The Lord was with Joseph, and he prospered. And I feel like that is just a sign letting us know that in each situation, Joseph never grumbled or complained. Sure, he may have been like, you know, Lord, what's going on? But ultimately, at the end of the day, his heart posture was trusting the Lord and knowing that God was with him, and that if God was with him, then he's going to be okay, and that his purpose is still going to come to fruition, and that God, it's just so crazy to me, because it's like, really, no matter. So let's put it into our terms right now. I can even use myself as an example. When I didn't get a job, what was my heart posture like? Yes, I was sad the first day. I'm not gonna lie, I was crying, I was upset, but my heart posture still during the tears, my heart posture was still, I trust God. I know if I didn't get this job, it wasn't for me. You know, he has something greater for me. And watch my last video, and you'll see that he did have another job for me, which was way better than I could have imagined. And so I'm saying all this to say, no matter what happens to you, whether good or bad, trust God that he's making all things work for the good of those who love the Lord and who are called according to his purpose. And we all have a purpose in him. So trust God that he is making a way out of no way, and that everything happens for a reason. He makes it all work together, even when we can't see it. So, and this is our job, is to trust God and let him make a way, not us try to figure it out. So those are the three things that I want to leave with y'all. Number one is that, remember, our purpose is bigger than ourselves. It's bigger than what we could even imagine. And number two, love people even who have hurt you. Love people who love you back. Just love everyone, because that's what we're called to do, and that's how Christ has loved us. And number three, trust God in everything, and that's really just on period. There's no comma. Trust God in everything. So I encourage you guys to read the story of Joseph, Genesis 37 through 50. It'll really bless you. And if you have a testimony, a good news testimony that you know will encourage someone, and you just want to share it, this is a place to do it. Send it to me, send it my way. We'll get you on the channel. We'll get your story on the channel. We'll figure out how we're going to do it, but it's going to be shared and it's going to encourage someone. And so if this video has encouraged you, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, because we're going to have more testimonies coming your way, and you want to see all that God is doing in other people's lives, or to encourage you, and then you can then encourage others, and also just allow God to move in your life. And so that's that. We're just gonna wrap up this video, and it's your girl Britt Brat, y'all, and I'm signing out. Bye, y'all.